I've got a couple of things that I want to do today, but it's already quite late in the day because it's been bloody sweltering, and so I've tried to avoid actually coming out, but I did want to do a couple of things. One is to get the battery charger hooked up on this car here because it's been sitting there for a while, and then I also want to have a look at the tractor. So let's get the battery charger hooked up. I'll leave it at that for now and come back and we can check it later on. So what we're going to do is take off these planks off here and put them down on here. So we've got to undo these rusty old bolts and or cut these rusty old bolts off. And try and clamp this from moving. The only way I can think of is with a bunch of washers, because it's sitting in here. Thing's turning. You're gonna have to cut it off, I think. Let's try tackling this one anyway. Try the other side. So I found a solution, and that seems to be to use this pipe bracket and clamp it, and it seems to hold both of them at the same time. We managed to get them all except for this one undone, and with this one, because the wood was so bad, can you see that there? We could just really pull it off it. But let's just see if we can now undo this, because then I don't necessarily save the bolts, but I can use the same bolts to bolt it back down on here. Now let's see if we can get all of these undone. We've got them all out on the other side. You can never do this without injury to oneself, but job done. Just this side now, and mostly they've been breaking off. I concede defeat. This is, you know, it's one of those things where even the smallest part of the job, not to mention a serious injury, is difficult, because these planks, which I did get off and cut all the bolts out and I put them down on the bottom, the holes don't line up with the holes in this, so potentially I could put just one bolt in each as long as I can line them up reasonably well. But the other issue being that they don't quite line up longitudinally either, so we might have to widen a hole or two. And I don't know whether you heard that thunder, but there's thunder and rain threatening, and it's actually getting late now. It's 5 o'clock, so time to take a break. I just wanted to see if I can finish that job on the tractor, so come with me while we see if we can fire it up and put those planks back on. Then there's a couple of jobs that I wanted to do with it. But while we're at it, I wanted to that one's got a fast car. Go through a couple of things with you. So we just got to drill, widen the holes or lengthen them, whichever way you want to look at it, so we could at least get a bolt in, so it's not all bolted down in the same place, but at least it's holding those down. What I want to do is, I think the clutch is sticking, is go and grab a chain it to a tree stump, and see if we can ease the clutch out in a higher gear, third or fourth, and just see if the clutch is sticking, you know, whether that'll break free, because it seems to be either on or off. You know, there doesn't seem to be a kind of a gradual easing the clutch, rather than we do a lurch forward. So let's see what we can do with that. What I wanted to talk to you about was the wonderful system that was the 3-point linkage, designed, invented by Harry Ferguson. It was back in 1926, something like that, so exactly a century ago. And prior to that, when tractors were hauling something that was heavy or offered some resistance, you know, like a plough, for example, as it dug in, it tended to put the weight onto the back of the tractor and lift the front in the air. And so in order to counter that, they needed to put weights on the front to hold the front down. And as a consequence, of course, tractors just got bigger and bigger and bigger. But when Harry Ferguson invented the 3-point linkage system, he overcame that issue and enabled tractors then to become smaller, hence the quite small little grey Fergies, you know, such as this one here. Now, these are very small tractors. They don't weigh very much, only a few hundred kilograms. And the beauty of the system was in this 3-point linkage system. So this is how they work. They pull here from here, but as this pulls here, and if this encounters some resistance and or weight, it swivels, if you know what I mean, as in tilts up this way and pushes weight back onto this, pushing it back into the back of the tractor. So in other words, as the more weight that you pull on this, or the more load you pull on this, the greater the load you push onto the back of the tractor here. And then that enabled you to use quite a light tractor to do the job, because you were no longer lifting up the front of the tractor. Anyway, here's a tree stump. Let's grab ourselves some chains. This should effectively make use of that 3-point linkage system. So I'm now going to be pulling on this lower one. We'll lower this down, of course, and that then should push back on the upper one. And we're hooked up to a tree stump, so short of pulling the tree stump over, we should either spin the wheels or free up that clutch. So a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and this one let go. Now the test will be to see whether this is any smoother. Marginally. Let's we'll shoot up here. We'll get rid of that. See if you can hear me. Get rid of that chain. I'm going to go and pick up some of that dirt. Just going to go and grab this bucket of dirt. I don't know whether you saw this before, but there was a big patch of oil there, or oil spill I should say, and I just filled that in with dirt. It came from this tub, which foolishly I let overflow, and oil floats, so of course it rose to the surface in the rain and spilled over. Next job is to take off that carburetor and rebuild it. When I got it, it was leaking fuel, and it looks like it may still be. You look down there, but as it got fuel in it, the gaskets must have softened up and resealed. But nevertheless, a lot of that surging, I think, is due to that. So that's what we're going to do next. Thanks for watching.